The reaction.
Right there. All right, so hi, my name's Isaac. I'm a music producer.
Hello,
and
Isaac.
composer. I've been doing that for the past 10 years or so.
My name's Gavin, and I do reactions of reactions.
Popular band of the 60s.
This guy is a Gen Z music producer. He's apparently never listened to the Beatles.
For like 20 years,
what an idiot. How can you be a music producer and having not think... Okay, so he's just said led by Paul McCartney. What the hell? At times led by Paul McCartney. It was John's band, though, let's be honest. Come on. Okay. So he's listened to them on the coffee shop radio. He's never paid attention to them. And production. He's a music producer who has never listened to the production of one of the most innovative production act group, whatever. Okay.
I just had a great business idea.
So this is a...
what is it? Aliens.
Okay, this guy's doing a sketch or a bit of a skit in the middle. That's great. Anyway, I'm a big Beatles fan. Not a huge Beatles fan, but a big Beatles fan. This is, okay, it's an ad for Skillshare. Great. I should probably skip this. I'll cut it out of most versions of this show, or of this reaction.
Up my business and my productivity with Ali Abdal's class, Master Your Productivity. I've been watching his YouTube channel.
This is one book I happen to have at Reach, which is the Beatles Encyclopedia. Fantastic book for looking up little bits of information if you ever need it.
On RC airplanes. It's really tempting.
I love this book as well. The Beatles, The Walrus Was Paul, all of the death clues that apparently Paul McCartney was dead and they replaced him.
500 people to use my link in the description. Get a free 1-month trial of Skillshare. Thank you, Skillshare, for sponsoring.
Another good one, A Hard Day's Right, all about all the different songs that they released and they wrote. Fantastic one, that one. Anyway, so he's starting off with Hey Jude. And of course, copyright means you can't listen to it, which is fantastic. But if he's played it, then I can play it. So you'll hear this and stuff. Hey Jude, originally written for Julian Lennon to try and get Jules to cheer up because his parents were breaking up and stuff.
I guess it's just like a music video because I definitely hear acoustic guitar, but
the music performance, I believe, was part live, part backing track. I could be wrong on that. It was for a TV show, and it was one of the very first ever
60s
one of the first ever music videos. Fantastic stuff.
I love it.
And he loves that 60s drum sound. That's Ringo Starr, mate. Have some bloody respect. John playing the 6-string bass, I believe, on this performance. Imagine being John Lennon, one of the greatest most unique rhythm guitarists.
Oh, that's an interesting melody harmony thing.
He looks confused. He genuinely looks confused by Hey Jude by the Beatles. Absolutely ridiculous. Let's do a quick, see if we can find Hey Jude in here quickly.
The technology back then was so limited.
See, this guy's annoying. This guy's annoying me. Yes, it was limited. I believe this was done on 8-track. No.
Wait, he's playing. Okay, yeah, this is not.
This still might be 4-track.
The drummer was hitting the ride cymbal in the video.
The drummer was hitting the ride cymbal. Are you kidding, mate? Ringo Starr was hitting the ride cymbal. Jeez.
Which is super common. Like, I see music videos all the time where the drummer's doing a groove, but it's playing something different. It happens.
Oh, this is actually annoying. I can't find Hey Jude because it was one of the singles. There it is.
Like, I hear like vocal things done. Like, these guys are doing some vocal runs and stuff that I still hear people do today.
They did it first, mate. They did it first. This is Hey Jude. How do you not know this song? What's he going to do when he gets to the outro? I like that he hasn't done any research and so he's discovering this. As John and Yoko started living together, not surprisingly, divorce proceedings began between John and Cynthia. An interim agreement was reached whereby Cynthia and Julian would be allowed to stay at Kenwood whilst the two respondents took up residence in Montague Square flat in central London.
Back in the day when this was like, this stuff was coming
this is way too long.
I guess just didn't really
Yeah, I can't read all of that.
I wonder what people were used to hearing before these guys came in.
This is a good point. He's registering the fact that this was new to people at the time. This wasn't something that everyone heard. And at the time, if I remember correctly, this was a song that came out a bit of time after they hadn't released much. This was somewhat of a, oh my god, the Beatles are back. But of course, during the Beatles' time, that meant they were probably gone for 6 months. Whereas in our time, it's like, oh, 5 years has gone past and this band are back or something. This was, if I remember, as I said, remembering, who knows, they had been away for a bit, and it was like, what have they been doing? It's like when Sgt. Pepper came out. It had only been like 8-9 months or a year between Revolver. And people were like, oh, the Beatles, they're dead. And then all of a sudden, hey guys, guess what? Sgt. Pepper.
Gritty vocal.
Well, it's a gritty vocal from Paul, sure. I'm pretty sure the vocals are live for this film clip. But this is the crazy thing about how revolutionary this outro was, this sing-along outro. It's something like half of the song is na-na-nas.
The hairstyles back then.
Is he commenting on the Beatles' hairstyles?
Bring it back.
I'm like an old millennial, if you want to go by that stuff. And this Gen Z guy is annoying the shit out of me. Because he doesn't even realize how so much of the stuff he does when he produces music, whatever it is. I haven't listened to any of his actual music. I should. I like the only comment I can see here that says not knowing the Beatles and being a music producer is like not knowing Shakespeare and calling yourself a playwright. It's so true. It's like saying, oh, I play golf. Who's Tiger Woods?
Oh, they've got a whole orchestra behind them.
They've got an orchestra behind them. Yeah, there's some strings there, mate.
Oh, I can...
It is a big fancy production for this.
I barely hear it.
The strings and stuff aren't really in the song.
Serious wall of orchestra.
A wall of orchestra. Oh, man.
Man, the recording of those days just doesn't do it justice. Like the fidelity. I really want to hear some more details. But
see, now I would disagree. I believe that he is just used to over-dramatic,
Sorry, that drum fill.
over-clear recording practices. Those days, it's like when you listen to Led Zeppelin and you go, it's a bit, you can't hear everything, and it's like, no, but a lot less compression.
Just totally analog, no digital manipulation in any way, shape, or form. And to really hear the musicians playing nowadays, a lot
Good
of
point.
what we record
Very valid
is
point.
just into a computer, which I would say really does, like, capturing it with digital interfaces and the digital workstations really lets you get the highest definition that you can get, but then it also gives you the option to mess
It's a good point. A lot of people talk about the fact that exactly that. You don't have to be a great musician because you can go in and you can alter everything and change everything, and the actual ability to play isn't as good, which some people say with the Beatles was a big difference because they spent a bunch of years playing together so much. When they were in Germany, they were recording they were performing like 3 sets a day, 6 days a week. And they became such an amazing band. Hence why you then watch the Get Back documentary and you see them in the studio and just randomly bumping into a song, and they all play it because they know it and they're good at it.
Argue with me on that. It's definitely easier. I'm thankful to be in the era I am. All right, so that was Hey Jude.
What's he going to go with next?
Let's go on to
A Day in the Life.
This was regarded on the Reddit page I was looking at. This is regarded as like their masterpiece.
This is possibly one of the greatest songs of all time. The very last song,
classic guitar in the left.
Very last song of Sgt. Pepper.
There's bass in the right.
Very clear 2-part Beatles, Paul and John sections. The 32-bar orchestra increase. Let's see how he reacts to that. That's going to be interesting because that's still a crazy thing, even now. I absolutely love this song. I love this whole album. Sgt. Pepper's the one I've got like 4 copies. It's one of those albums that I've bought multiple copies with no question. I want to be a nerd where I
Just the
listen to
chords?
I listened to the album multiple times to listen to different mixes and different things like that. The 50th anniversary edition, if you're going to buy Sgt. Pepper on vinyl, the 50th anniversary edition is the way to go in this day and age.
Ooh.
Don't you dare.
Okay, the drum recording, the tuning.
Okay, good, good. I'm sure he's listening to a bad mix, to be honest. When they originally released Sgt. Pepper and some of their albums, the mix was terrible for stereo.
This is really unique. Like the panning.
Didn't I just say the panning?
And the
It was
mixing is
terrible.
really unique in this.
Because they were recording with 4 tracks, so the panning they could only do was very minimal.
Just wiped out.
They couldn't mix individual instruments. They had to mix whole sections of the song to different sides. So the stereo mix was kind of terrible. Which is why we're very lucky that Peter Jackson's technology has allowed us to now go in and spread everything and re-stereo mix. Here we go. He's looking confused. He's not sure what's going on here.
Those are strings in the background?
I like it. I like his reaction here. He's so confused. This is good. So this is where they gave the orchestra 32 bars and said go from your lowest note to your highest note with nothing as just a rise. So let's see what he thinks of this when we go into the Paul section. Here comes the Paul section. Oh, I love this song. I really do. Cross my head.
That was amazing.
Correct response, mate. Correct response. This makes me actually want to go put the album on. In the 50th anniversary edition that I've got on vinyl, there's a second disc, which is a alternate version of the whole album, in that the songs are a little bit different. And in this section here, the bass is very prominent. And it's fantastic because it was, like a lot of people say, I hadn't heard of that before. That bass line, I hadn't heard it in detail before. And it has this descending walking line that's just fantastic. So yeah, if you get the 2 vinyl edition of the 50th anniversary, that's the one. I really like it.
Oh my goodness. That
good.
Was epic.
Good response. It's such a douchebag thing to be like, no, the Beatles are the greatest, just shut up, you can't tell me anything else, and I don't care. That's my attitude. It's totally gatekeeping douchebag vinyl wanker, but this song is just fantastic. If you've got the time to learn it on guitar as well, just a basic version with just the chords, a lot of fun too. Especially when you do the rise. Oh, it's great.
Here comes that orchestra again. Holy cow. I've never heard an orchestra used like that.
It's one of those things where you wish you could reread Lord of the Rings for the first time.
How do you write that out?
Well, George Martin did actually write that out for them with giving them rough notes that they should be hitting at the times so that they all rose together and they all got to the end together. E major.
What?
And I'm a nerd enough that I listened to it one time and actually turned it up. As this fade out happens, I turned it up and you can hear a piano seat creak. It's fantastic stuff. Wait, I wonder if it's got the run out groove. Will he hear the run out groove? I like that he's just listening to the whole fade out of the E major. That's very cool.
I've just never heard anything like that. I loved how just the chaos of the orchestra just built and built and built until it all ended on that one note. That's a really cool
I like
idea.
that. I really like that. I really like that response.
Right, so the last one we have is Strawberry
Another
Fields
tripper.
Forever. It's a Mellotron.
He recognized the Mellotron. That's very cool as well. I wonder if he'll hear the splice between. So they recorded 2 versions, one a bit higher, a bit quicker, and one a bit slower. And John didn't like either of them, but he liked bits and pieces and stuff. So George Martin and the engineers spliced the two versions together, and that bit where it goes "Meow" is how they got the two to come down to the same tempo, which gives John's voice a little bit of a weird tone to it, which is what they liked at that time, affecting the vocals and all that psychedelic stuff.
The bass is just totally mixed differently in this. It's way deeper.
Of course,
I mean, still panned
yeah,
hard to one side.
as I said, the panning's terrible in some of these things.
This music video is hilarious. Oh, wait.
And he's watching a music video version as well, which has got the weird big instrument in the park, and
the tempo changes is interesting in this song.
I kind of forget how psychedelic Strawberry Fields Forever is. But I really like the fact that a younger person is listening to this for the first time and actually noticing the genius or noticing the interesting brilliance of it. Because I've listened to it for 30 years now, and
I love that they use the orchestra.
And I
like
feel quite jaded sometimes
cool.
in that I
use a lot of orchestra in my music.
Oh, he uses a lot of orchestra.
Meld pop, rock, hip hop,
okay,
orchestral music. I do a lot of theater stuff, and
so I actually need to check this guy out then. I like that
rock, pop,
that he was talking about theater stuff.
That's like right up my alley. I love that. That's so cool.
But yeah, I like the fact that he's listening to it the first time and he's noticing, because sometimes you go, okay, I've listened to a band 100 times. Am I genuinely hearing good stuff?
This is definitely
or am I just, I've listened to it so much I think it's good. So it's good to hear an alternative take, an alternative version, or an alternative set of ears hearing it for the first time. And I do like that subtle backwards noises, the percussion and stuff in there.
In the background. That's cool.
Because obviously back then, in order to get backwards stuff, you actually had to get the physical tape, turn it backwards, and then play it. There was no hitting a button.
Oh, that's like full-on hip-hop groove right there.
That is a good groove there that you could probably take out
like
into a lo-fi beats or a hip-hop type thing. Enter the Magical Mystery Chambers, the Grey album. There's at least 2 hip-hop mashed up Beatles albums to look into. Enter the Magical Mystery Chambers is the Wu-Tang and the Beatles, and Jay-Z and the Beatles is Danger Mouse's Grey album. Very good stuff, both of those albums. Both completely illegal and taken off the internet, so you got to try and do some searching to find them. But everyone's mixed the Beatles and hip-hop, taking samples and stuff.
What an experience.
Good answer. I like that. Hit.
It just keeps on going.
Wonder if he can hear I Buried Paul or not. One of the death clues from this book. Did Paul McCartney survive that car accident?
This is so different.
Here it is. Somewhere here. Oh, he cut it off.
Wow. Okay.
He cut off the I Buried Paul part. That's a shame.
Really cool, and I enjoyed the heck out of that. The creativity
Very
coming
cool.
out of that song, wasn't something I expected to hear from like the little bits and pieces that I've heard.
I like this.
Beatles. I always kind of thought of them as a little bit more boring, and I think Hey Jude was kind of more up of what
that's fair.
The Beatles were. But then A Day in the Life and then Strawberry Fields, that just blew me.
I was like negative about this to start with. Like, dude, what the hell?
Hey, if there's
You've never listened to the Beatles. What an idiot.
Throw it down in the comments and I'll take
But I liked his response overall. Like what he said. If you've got a video you want me to react to, I'm going to react to it. And I've got nothing to do with Skillshare. But reactions, more coming soon. Bye. Yeah, bye. Bye.
Thank you guys. I'll see you next time.